are these people?
And let's not forget the complicity of the U.S. and the UK, namely, and this is in Indie Media Award honoree Declassified UK, continuing their coverage of the spy plane missions, which remain active in Cyprus after the Gaza mission ends, right? So aircraft contracted to look for hostages continues to fly from the UK base despite the ceasefire, with drones also spotted. Why are these drones and why are these planes circling Cyprus? That's weird. A spy plane hired by Britain's Ministry of Defense to surveil Gaza has continued flights over the main Mediterranean after its mission ended last week. But what's interesting again is that the manned spy plane is known as Crook 12 is owned by the Sierra Nevada Corporation, which I still contend likely has some connections to Israel, Adelson, Mossad, etc., etc. Allegedly. I have not found any direct evidence and linked, but I haven't dug any very deeply. My guess is they're not even trying to hide it. It spent several hours flying in circles off the coast of Cyprus this Monday, and last Friday, Royal Air Force drones have also been operating in the same area since the ceasefire. What are they doing out here? Oh, and how interesting that they go into a five-point star pattern also. Crooks 12 was part of a fleet of planes used by Britain's Royal Air Force to surveil Gaza since December of 2023. And Declassified has reported on this before, as we covered on this show. Officially looking for hostages, no information has been released about whether they found anyone, with mounting concern that intelligence shared with Israel could have contributed to attacks on civilians. Could have. Its sister plane, Crook 11, once left its tracker on over Gaza, revealing it flew just 3 streets away from a house that was bombed by Israel hours later, killing 34 civilians. Quote, the faces of dead children were crushed in a way that no mind or heart can describe. If there's evidence that a British recon plane participated in the massacre committed against us, then Britain is complicit in the genocide. Of course! Not to quote a horse-loving douchebag named King. This pair of Crook planes appeared on flight tracking websites between Cyprus and Gaza 133 times since they were first deployed in December of 2024, Declassified has found. That's a lot. The Royal Air Force has deployed its own fleet of Shadow R1 surveillance planes over 600 times from Cyprus during the war in Gaza, or you mean the massacre orchestrated by Israel in Gaza, according to research by the charity Action on Armed Violence. This suggests, again, that the Ministry of Defense could have launched as many as 739 surveillance sorties relating to Gaza, meaning 739 instances of potential war crimes. The data can't be comprehensive because the Crook planes often restricted the visibility of their trackers, and because they're American planes, they can't be held to a standard. 2 further flights since the ceasefire suggest the Ministry of Defense may intend to keep operating surveillance flights in the Eastern Mediterranean. What a shock! Defense Secretary John Healey said this week that a small team of British military personnel have been sent to Israel to help with monitoring the ceasefire. Sure, Jan, that's what they're there for. Quote, without boots on the ground, the team is likely to rely on a combination of drones, surveillance aircraft, satellites, and other sensors to keep watch for any breaches, the Times reported. And oh yeah, the trust me bro from Israel that they always take. It comes as at least 2 RAF Protector drones were seen on a flight tracking website flying from Akrotiri, Britain's airbase in Cyprus. As far as it's publicly known, these flights are the first for RAS Protector RG-1s outside of the UK or US airspace. That's significant. Campaign group Genocide Free Cyprus said on Instagram that the drone flights extend British military influence from a colonial foothold and ensure that the UK remains a key player in regional surveillance, which is exactly what it's trying to do. 3% of Cyprus remains British occupied, despite the island becoming independent in 1960. Were you aware of that? I did not know that.
No, I had no idea.
Referring to the manned spy flights, a defense analyst who asked not to be named told Declassified, quote, "I'm still deeply mystified as to why the Israelis needed any intelligence that these planes could detect over Gaza. Mostly because they wanted complicity. They wanted somebody else to do their dirty work for them. It's not a big secret that the Israelis have fleets of drones and signals intelligence and troops on the ground. They have way more capability than anything that those planes could have. Yes, but they also have Israeli flag markings." The Ministry of Defense has refused to answer the questions in Parliament about its contractual relationship with Sierra Nevada. How convenient. Let me guess, citing national security concerns? The Ministry of Defense previously told Declassified that surveillance flights were unarmed, don't have a combat role, and were solely focused on securing the release of the hostages. Sure, Jan.
Sure they were.
They said that the UK
they've been doing that for the last,
2 years?
8 months or whatever it is. Right.
There you go. Las Vegas Sands Corp has reached a deal with federal prosecutors to pay more than $47 million to the U.S. government in order to avoid criminal charges over alleged money laundering activities. That would be the Adelson family that operates in Vegas but doesn't own any hotels in Vegas anymore. They operate hotels in Macau. Thank you, Seven Side, for that. Good night. Revolution continues. Good to see you. Again, the UK claims that they control what information is passed on, and only information relating to hostage rescue, broad term, is passed to the relevant Israeli authorities. We will only pass information where we're satisfied that it will be used in accordance with international humanitarian law. Or where we have plausible deniability. That's the other thing that they won't mention. Fuck Israel. Fuck England. And I heard Monica Perez on the latest Cognitive Dissonance talked about it, and she said it's really a triangle. It's a trifecta between the U.S., the U.K., and Israel. It's the three of them operating in tandem and in consortium with each other. We certainly will not be remonetized by YouTube for calling all that out. So again, if you're able to and it means, please support the media you want to see and support channels like this that show you things that are not being shown on corporate media. That's why we go to independents and sources that go as directly as possible. Ways to support this channel: Cash App, $ Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, at indienewsnow.com, where we're live. We have a live section there, but we also have a support the media and keep the media free. And that's where you can do a Stripe donation. Also over at Substack, monthly or annual, you can do a contribution there at indiemediatoday.com or at innnewsletter.com. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. I love you all. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Mwah. Ciao, baby.
I'll be back.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say?